started. Thanks so much for being here. Today's Wednesday, February 12th, and I am very excited about everything that's happening right now inside the community, inside EXP. For those of you who aren't tracking the big numbers nationally, we're starting to see some recovery. So all that recovery we've been talking about, saying it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, and I feel like, hold on, I got to wipe this thing off. And I feel like it's been coming for like years now. And we're finally starting to see that recovery, price point recovery, absorption recovery, balanced market recovery, and even recovery at the level of the Fed, how that's driving interest rates, what'll happen to pricing, what'll happen to agency. These are good things. So what does that mean? Does that mean that a bunch of transactions are going to fall out of the sky today, land in your pocketbook? No, it doesn't mean that. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about something I like to call reverse cold calling. And for those of you who know my background, I was for years and years a cold calling advocate. That was my whole entire thing, was creating cold outreach, cold database building so that you could go out and create business when you needed it, right? It's one thing to go out and find a fruit tree when you're in the middle of the desert and you get a piece of fruit. Woohoo, that's nice. It's a way different thing to own a fruit farm, right? And to just be able to do it. And it's a whole nother thing to just maybe like raid the farm and eat whatever you want. So these are a bunch of weird metaphors. Today, what we're going to talk about, though, is how to sign up for the Jelly of the Month Club. Just to have it keep showing up for you. What are the fishing lures that we can put out there that are actually high draw? And we're going to talk about some things today that are a little bit still prospecting, and then a number of them, though, that are permanent lead machines. And what does that mean? It means something that we deploy as a system. And when that system goes to work, it creates business for you again and again and again, just keeps working, rather than something where you have to go to work every single day and hustle your brains out. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be going to work every day. You should. And ultimately, he or she who works the hardest in this industry, there's still a pretty positive correlation between that hard work and your ability to receive income. But it also is not just hard work. There are people who work really, really hard, but don't substantiate value, or they maybe rub their clients the wrong way, or maybe they're just not very good at what they do, et cetera, et cetera. No one on this call. But what I will tell you is when that happens, it doesn't matter how hard you work, right? I could work really hard if I was in the NFL, and all that would happen is I'd end up in a coma. So it doesn't matter how hard I work. I don't have the goods. So some 6'4" guy is going to take my head off and leave me in the middle of the field. So I'm 5'9", by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, and I don't weigh 300 and whatever pounds like some of those linemen. Holy moly, the Super Bowl was insane this week. All right. So we're going to jump in. And the title of today's session, which is great. I really love this content, by the way, that we're covering, just because it's exciting stuff. But the title today is Rapid Fire Lead Flow. This is how to flood your business with, look at these words, with high quality leads fast. Look, you can flood your business or your basement with a bunch of sewage. And there might be somebody's diamond ring stuck in the middle of that 600,000 gallons of raw sewage. But if you're having to trudge through sewage, it's not very fun. And finding that diamond or whatever in the rough is not going to be what you want to do with your business. So my belief, at least, is that you don't just want a bunch of leads. You want fewer leads, very high quality leads. Let's figure out how to cross that threshold. And we're going to talk about this in a number of ways today, because I think that there's some classic mistakes that, whether you're making them or not, certainly agents that you know have made these mistakes. I've made all of them. That's how I know. I always find out where all the walls are by bumping into them. So the biggest problems that agents face, and hopefully you can relate to one of these, because we're going to try and solve a bunch of these today. Number one, chasing leads instead of attracting them. Wouldn't it be nice for someone to call up, hey, I've heard about you, I know about you, or I've seen you, I was referred to you, etc., whatever that verbiage is. I want to work with you. Who else are you interviewing? Nobody. I just want to work with you. Can we go? Let's take a listing. That's a great outcome. There are a number of you on this call who have that happen on the regular, because you've spent years building a real business where your clients know who the heck you are, they have loyalty, and they have a lot of sticking power, right? But we're going to talk about how to do this when you're newer too, because that's great that you've had 30 years to build that, but I don't have 30 years to wait to pay my mortgage. It's due at the end of the month, kind of a thing, right? All right. So number two, wasting time on leads that won't convert. Oh my gosh, guys. How many of us have ever just worked and worked and worked that one lead? I know they're gonna buy with me. I just know it. And then guess what you find out? They bought with somebody else, or straight from a FISBO, or they just moved to Tennessee and you live in Oregon or whatever, right? You cannot overinvest in one single lead. That is not a business. That is bankruptcy waiting to happen. Number three, no system for consistent lead flow, right? I had this explained to me by one of my earliest coaches. You need to have in your business at least one, I would prefer five faucets. Think of them as faucets. You need to be able to drink. And if you can turn on a faucet of lead flow and then turn it back off, that means you have control over your business. If you are overextended, what can you do? You can dial it back and say, listen, I'm gonna dial it back, whatever shows up organically good for me, but I'm not gonna go hard on this. But if you start to get into a little bit of a drought, what can you also do, right? I live in New Mexico. It gets dry here. We turn on the water, right? I got an acre, I gotta water this bad boy. And guess what? We've got a big well, so we can do that. But we gotta turn on the water. If you can't turn on the water, you don't have a business yet. And we're going to talk about how to tackle that today. If you're thinking, well, I don't have a faucet. All right, good. I'm glad you're here. And then number four, no follow-up. I didn't say bad follow-up. I said no follow-up. This is the classic agent mistake, right? Well, I had this lead and they said they were going to work with me. Awesome. When did you talk to them? 3 months ago. Good. When did you talk to them again? 3 months ago. Okie dokie. We've got a problem, right? So we're going to talk about how to actually approach that today. Most specifically, though, I'm going to give you some very, very specific systems today that you can implement into your business. My goal is for you to have more transactions quickly. All right. So the things that you're going to learn, how to reach out to leads, how to get them reaching out to you, right? That's the more valuable thing. We want them coming to us. And actually, as the world is changing, there's rule changes with the TCPA, there's rule changes with the GDPR and the internet and how things can work and all this stuff, CAN spam compliance laws, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What we're starting to see is that business is shifting. You have to be able to create a magnet and pull clients toward you, or you're going to be out of business. So let's talk about that today. Second, we're going to give you a 3-step formula to generate high quality leads quickly. And we're also going to talk today about some things that are just going to be relevant. You may not like it. You may be like, but that feels unfamiliar to me. Awesome. Walking was unfamiliar to you at one point as well. You seem to be doing that pretty well now. We're going to talk about AI, automation, and what I'm calling the no-brainer follow-up system, so that you guys can just put something into place in your business, start to work at the edges of your business, right? So we can extend our own growth boundaries and really get a little bit more out of our business. So the question that we're going to ask today, and we're going to come back to this a number of times, what is it that this person really wants that nobody else will offer them? I didn't say can. Everyone can offer the same thing. It's whether or not all of your competitors will make this offer. And the problem with agents is they're too quick to discount. How many of your heads just went to, oh, he's talking about reducing my commission? No, I'm not. I'd rather you increase your dang commission. But guess what? Increase your value. And value is a perception-based thing, right? We like to pretend like there's truth in the world. There's no truth. We don't know what the truth is, right? That's why many people on this call have faith, right? Faith is an expression of the lack of truth. Truth would be like, there's an obvious one single point of truth. You can just go to it. It's like AI is trying to be, but it's not really. So what do we really need? What is it that this person really wants, but nobody else will give it to them? We're going to answer that today. For those of you who don't know, my name's Jeff. That's a funny line from some TV show that I've never seen. And then I just believe that if you're going to commit to something, commit to being exceptional. You know, my dad used to tell me all the time, if you're going to do something, do it like you want to be number one, go all the way. Do your very, very best, and your potential should always be at the top of the heap. Why? Simply because otherwise, don't do it, right? Don't do it. I mean, unless it's like eating Thanksgiving dinner. Don't go hard on that one. But like things that matter, right? Business stuff, work stuff, life stuff, relationship stuff. Really, really extend yourself to try to be great, exceptional. Why? Because life's boring otherwise. So that's my belief. And I also believe that everything should be fun. If you're not having fun, what are you doing? Right? We can still have a good time while figuring all this stuff out. I'm stressed. Okay, well, get used to it. That's part of, listen, life works this way. You're born, you go through life, there's some stresses, then you die. It's the same for literally everyone. Everyone has stresses. A billionaire's stresses are a lot more stressful than yours. You think they don't exist, but I'm telling you, I've spoken with a whole lot of them. They got big stressors. So don't fear, everybody's stressing. Section 1, the fastest path to leads formula. So today we're going to talk about this, right? What is it about getting leads that's so exciting as an agent? Well, first off, we know that we need leads in order for our business to succeed. Now, we've talked about this on different calls, so I'm not going to go super deep into this category, but I do want to say this right here. A lead is not a lead, is not a lead, is not a lead. Huh? Yeah, let me explain. So somebody calls up, I can see the always amazing Joanne Graham, great coach and mentor on this call. So somebody calls up Joanne Graham and says, Joanne, I've sold 3 houses with you and my sister needs to sell her $1.2 million house. I told her there's no one else I would trust in the entire city. I hope you'll work with her, right? That's a lead. Okay, let's go to another lead, right? Another lead would be, I know this person is selling their house for sale by owner and they think all agents are the Antichrist. Those are 2 leads. Which one's better? Obviously, the first one, correct? But we would still call them both lead. And we say dumb stuff like, I need more leads. That's like saying, I don't know, I need more warts on my face, right? Sometimes leads are great. Sometimes they're warts on your face that we don't want, right? We don't want the bad leads. So we're going to talk about high quality leads today, people with high intent, people who are close to an actionable decision item that could lead to actual revenue in your business, right? Somebody who's like, I might be willing to buy a house. You're like, great. What do you do for a living? They're like, I'm unemployed. You're like, And then they're like, also I had a foreclosure and a bankruptcy and I'm in prison. That's not a great lead, guys. Sorry, love that person. I love all people, but it's just not in this business. It's not a great lead. If you were a financial planner, it wouldn't be a great lead either. It's not because we're discriminating against that person. They happen to just be a bad lead for this. Period. End of story. You can quote me. All right. So guess what? Today we're going to talk about how do we build great leads in our business, ones that are likely to actually convert, turn into a paycheck, et cetera, et cetera. That's what we want. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is, who's closest to the deal? Who is closest to the deal? So this is a fun screen. If you're not looking at the screen, I'm going to invite you to check in. Just trust me, this list is worth it. These are the people who are closest to doing a deal. I'm going to start at the top. Hold on. Quick coffee break. Check out this new mug, by the way. Lexi got me this thing. Oh, man, it's pretty, isn't it? Woo! It's like made out of, I don't know, some type of dinosaur bone or something. All right. So at the top, what do we have? Referrals. Well, first off, I don't know that they're the closest to the deal, but they are closest to a deal once you receive one. So the more you receive, the closer you are to a deal. A referral is the best lead you can get. Actually, a sphere of influence or past client referral is the best referral you can get because it's free. I mean, you know, air quotes free. You're probably going to do something for that person, I would hope, because you're not a turd. But I don't have to carve off a portion of my commission to another agent, let's say, right? Agent to agent referrals, those are still great. If you're not going out and farming for those or hunting for those, I think that's a huge mistake. I know agents who do 2 deals a month and all they do is work referral groups. That's it. How many times a week? 5 times a day, homie. Like you, you got to be in there. It's a job. It's a job at that point. Well, that's not worth it. 24 deals a year. Run the commission numbers really quickly on worth it in your world, right? I'm going to leave this up on the screen for a second longer. I know it's like I got a lot of people who don't know how to screenshot, so they're trying to write everything down. So got a couple of you laughing. All right. So guess what? If you're working for referrals and you're going out and you're looking for them every day, why couldn't that just be an 8-hour-a-day job until you got enough business? And then it's an 8-hour-a-day job again. The second one of them closes. And then it's an 8-hour-a-day job. Like, stay on it. I have people, well, that's too much work. Dude, most people work 40 to 80 hours a week. You're working 3 hours a week. and being like, it's so hard, man. You got soft, homie. Like get a little bit tougher. All right. Sorry. Apparently I'm being weird today. That's okay. It's a Wednesday. That's what we'll do. Next one, for sale by owners and expireds. And we're going to talk about how can we work this category of business without cold calling. Because guess what? In January of next year, it may change entirely. I don't know if anybody hasn't heard. Telephone Consumer Protection Act, right? Unless things get shaken up at the Fed, all politics set aside, things are moving around, right? Okay. So maybe that'll get set aside. I don't know. But if this is your only avenue of business, you may have to shift your approach. I think that's great, by the way. Why? Because anytime an approach gets shaken up, it means that the people who are the most competitive suddenly go, and some percentage of them end up exiting that category of business. It makes it easier to compete, not harder. Why? Same rule change for everybody. You just need to be the most adaptable and you will be the most successful. But referrals and then for sale by owners and expireds, they already have their hand up. They're like, yeah, I want to sell my house. Expireds were like, I wanted to sell my house, but my turd of an agent never called me back and their marketing didn't get my house sold. And I'm angry. Now, their agent probably just never told them they took the wrong price at the beginning. And that's hard. That requires an adult conversation, right? Not just feeding them candy. But we'll talk about that. But it's how do we get the conversation with this person started in a way where they're warmed up? They actually want to come to you, not the other way around. We're going to talk about it today without cold calling. Number 3, artificial intelligence is enhancing outreach. And for those of you who don't know that this is happening, it is happening. AI can work your CRM for you. Huh? Yeah, you heard me. That's nuts. AI can be your CRM for you. That's also nuts. It's like having a 24/7 message responder in place. Others to a lesser extent. Okay, I'm going to read through these quickly. Please screenshot the page, but landlords with expiring leases. How do I know? Well, that's a whole nother session, but you can know, by the way. We'll talk about it. Divorce attorneys. Well, divorced people need to sell their houses. The attorneys tend to get a first heads up that this person's, having a hard time. Probate and estate executors. People die. In case you weren't informed, everyone on this call, not today, hopefully, but at some point. And then if you got a house, it's going somewhere. Builders with unsold inventory. I've used this one before to great success. Love it. I remember one day I took 5 listings in a day or 2 days, I think it was, with one builder, small builder, not huge national, not some merchant builder. Really good stuff though. And we'll talk about how to do that possibly. But also what I really want you to be thinking is this question, this question that we've put up here. What do they really want that no one else will offer them? What do those builders want that no one else will offer them? What are those divorce attorneys? What are those probate executors? What are those landlords with expiring lease? What does everyone want that nobody else will offer them? Right? It gets too easy to think, well, I'll just offer them a free CMA. Oh, great. Man, where else would I possibly find that information? Old, worthless. All right. People in pre-foreclosure. Could I find those leads? Yeah, investors find them all the time. That's how they get wholesale deals, flip deals. Couldn't you sweep in there? And some percentage of them are just going to want to go to the retail market. That's you. Job relocation leads. Ooh, you could work with employers. Who's the biggest 5 employers in your market? Expired luxury listings. This is an interesting one because they really want to change representation. If you didn't know, right? I live in that market a little bit. And Lexi operates extremely well in the luxury market. I think her most recent listing is like 1.7. And what's fascinating is that people really, really care about their representation, their consultative approach, excuse me. Divorce mediators, you can read down this list. Senior home transition, I don't want to burn it out here. Oh, nice, I was reading that apparently. Burned out Airbnb hosts, homeowners with notice of default. Look at all these. These are all people who either want to or hopefully have to sell their houses. Empty nesters, parents-to-be, recent widows or widowers, owners of vacant homes, HOA board members, business owners closing or relocating, people who just inherited property. And I'm going to tell you this. Sometimes I show a list like this and people are like, oh, I'll just feel like an ambulance chaser. I'm like, do you know why that term ambulance chaser became a thing? Because injury attorneys started chasing ambulances and made seven figures in the 80s doing it. In the 80s, when seven figures was like, right? It was a term because it was so damn effective, too many people started doing it. That's why it became a thing. We make fun of it like it's bad, and it's a little, it's not great. But why did the term exist? Because it was successful. So what I want to do is come back to this list and say, the question is not whether or not these are great categories. Every one of these categories is great. The question is, what's your approach? And if they're pulling up to the hospital and you're jumping out saying, do you need to sell your house? You're a turd. Don't do that. But guess what? There's another approach that could be successful. And we're going to talk about that today. All right. So hopefully you got this. This is great. And the question is, how do I get proximity to these folks? Because why? Because proximity is power, right? Proximity is power. I love there's a TV show called New Girl. It was very funny. Came out a number of years ago and I watched it. And there was a line in there where this guy was telling his roommate how to get a date with somebody or something like that. And his strategy was just be there all the time. Just be around, just be present. And it's interesting because it really applies to our business. How can you be present? Why does Coca-Cola do so much business? Is it because they're text messaging you and saying, hi, Krista, this is Coca-Cola. We'd love for you to try Coca-Cola. We think it's great. Do they have to send out cold text messages? Do they cold call you and say, hi, Jojo, this is Coca-Cola. We sure would love for you to try our product. Nope. He's like, yes. Wow, I'm not getting those calls, man. That's awesome. Yeah, so guess what? They don't have to. Why? Because they have omnipresence in their brand. They're friggin' everywhere. They're everywhere. What does that cost? A lot for them, but we're going to talk about how to hack that. So proximity is power. You need to be proximal to these people. You need to be close to all these folks. How do I get there? Well, first off, have an awareness of the list. And if you haven't already screenshotted this, shame on you. So we're going to continue asking that question. What do they really want that nobody else will offer them? And by the way, I'm going to give you one quick upfront freebie today. If you take nothing else away from today's training, I want you to take, this is a little bit of a reframe on something one of my friends sent to me. And I think it's great. I wanted you guys to have it because it's effective. This is an SMS. Hey, Sandra, I just finished a home value analysis and you won't believe this. Zillow 770, Redfin this, Realtor.com that. But the real value, somewhere between 888 and 928, big difference. Want me to run numbers for your home? Let me know. I'd love to help, Jeff. Now, you could, at the beginning, you could say just finished a home value analysis for another client or whatever. But what you're really saying is, I just ran the numbers for another client. They were relying on all these home value estimators. And guess what? Turned out their house was worth quite a bit more. Now, is that going to be true every single time? No. Should you use real numbers? Probably. Or you and one of your partner agents should take one of their numbers and you should say, we just finished a home value analysis. That's fine. But don't lie. But this approach works very well. What are you demonstrating? What are you showing them? Can somebody tell me why this text message would be so successful? And it is, by the way.
I can say something.
Do it, please.
Because everybody's looking for their Zestimate and everything else. They want to know what their property's worth. So they see these numbers all over the place. And when you bring up the idea that those numbers could be wrong, then they want to know the right number and they think that you might be able to give it to them.
Yeah, correction is a reflex, right? If I'm talking to you and I say, listen, Jane, I just believe, right? And she's like, Jane, wait a minute. My name's Joanne, right? So, or I'm like, listen, I totally understand. And this is a beautiful 2,700 square foot home. And she's like, this is a 4,900 square foot home. Like, you are out of your mind. It's a reflex. We can't help it as humans. We love to correct things when they're wrong. So what we know is if we now have the belief that our online estimate's wrong, what do we want? The right. We want the right. It's the polar opposite. Joanne, I love that. Have you ever used an approach similar to this or to cast doubt in any way on these online value estimators?
Yeah, my line is, if it starts with a Z, it's probably not right.
Yeah, I used to say, yeah, that's why they call it a zestimate, not as appraisal. And so, right, not a zactimate. And so, I think at the end of the day, people just need to be reminded that you have value. This is a reminder that I have value. If I run the numbers and I'm coming up that other homes can be that far off, maybe yours could be too, and then you're going to want to know. But who's going to be most likely to want to know, guys? Does anyone know this?
Someone who might be ready to sell.
Yep. Next 12 months. That's what we know. Anybody who asks for an accurate valuation of their home is thinking about selling it in the next 12. Is that always true, Jeff? I don't know. I'm going to say that it's true because you need to act like it's true if you want to have a business. So yes, it's true, right? So let's go back to the slide. If you haven't screenshotted it, do so. Run up something like this. You can change it. The words are less important than the intent. Don't make it so long that they won't read it. Try and keep things fairly tight, but et cetera, et cetera. All right. So I wanted you guys to be aware of this. This SMS will bring in listings. And change it. Do it every once in a while. Run different cohorts. You can use your smart number or you can use your phone. Well, how am I going to send that to 500 people? If you don't know about the Reach app, go get the Reach app. That'll help you a lot. There's there's the Reach app, the R. And so you might want to grab that. That's a good app. That's a few bucks a month, $5 a month, something like that, so that it's not mass texting. You have to hit send, but it'll queue up every number and plug in their name. So you can hit send to Krista, send to Jojo, send to Joanne, send to Doug, send to Jeff, right? It goes that quick. So 500 of those while you're watching an episode of South Park. No big deal, right? So life's not that hard, guys. All right, next. So this is a referral script that, in my opinion, feels natural, not salesy. You can change it for yourself. And if you hate my scripts, awesome, right? Develop your own. But my question would be, how many scripts did you send out last week? And let's just call scripts verbiage, text, narrative of any nature to a person. How much outreach did you do last week? And by the way, here's a quick side note on all this. You're like, I thought we were setting up systems that brought people to us. Yeah, you can automate 100% of this. 100% of what I'm showing you today can be automated completely. You don't have to do anything except build it one time and let it run for a long time. All right. Referral script, not salesy. Hey, Bob, I need your help. I'm working on a secret real estate project and I need insider info. Can I ask you a quick question? Now, this is assuming you know the person, right? Right. But you could send this out to your entire database. How many people are in your database? 4. We'll work on that. 400. Awesome. Send it now. And guess what? They're going to text you back. Here's an alternative down at the bottom, which we've run before. So I'm going to leave that one down here at the bottom. Need a favor. I'm in a referral competition for a brokerage. And if I get the most today, I win. You don't happen to know anybody that's thinking of buying or selling so I can get some points on the board, do you? By the way, I've run that specific script out to a big database again and again and again. And not a joke, it worked every single time. Multiple transactions every time I ran it to 100 or more people. Huh? Yeah. It works. Why? Because people want to help you. I need a favor. I need your help. Favor is a great word. Help is a great word. They're reciprocity triggers. All right, but I'm going to show you what happens after this. What to say next, because they're going to engage. Guess what? And you're going to say back. So they may say, hey, sure, what's up? So then you move them into hopefully some type of a referral ask category, right? And then your reply. If you had to guess who's the next person in your world to move, doesn't have to be now, maybe even next year. I'm just putting together my future mover list and I'd love to keep them on my radar. No pressure. No pressure is a great part of this text, by the way. Like if it's a guy friend for me, I might write, because I'm weird and I'm goofy with my guy friends. I might be like, thanks, love you, or like huggies, kissies, like they'll laugh back, LOL. And then they'll send me a name because I've engaged with them over time and built rapport. Even in markets where I'm not the direct on the transaction, which is very fun. If you're not working side markets, by the way, do that. Where you're licensed, but I've been licensed in 4 states in the last 5 years. So then handling different responses. So if they give you a name, what do you say? What do you do? What do you do? Awesome. Should I casually reach out now or wait until they bring it up with you first? What are you looking for? Does anyone know what I'm looking for right there?
Introduction.
Yes, Joanne's my referral queen. She knows this category of business, right? I'm looking for the introduction and I'm looking for the ability to call up and say, "Hi, Joe. Joanne gave me your name and said that we should chat. We'd be a great match. Sounds like you've got some big plans coming up, real estate wise. Tell me what's going on." Listen to how open-ended it is that. Yeah, I didn't say, "Do you want to work with me?" Circle yes or no. Kissies, huggies, middle school. No, I said, "Tell me about your life and your plans." And I just left it open. And then they get to start talking. And then I'm literally going to sit here, mute my phone, and not talk. And by the way, very hard for me. That's why I love doing these sessions, because I get to talk for the whole entire time. It's a beautiful thing. Why this works: low pressure increases the chance they'll give you a warm intro. If they say, more likely, by the way, 90% of people, I can't think of anyone right now. Fantastic. What am I doing? I'm setting the intention for future referrals. No worries. If somebody mentions moving, just shoot me a quick text. I'll make you look like a rock star for connecting us. Or I'll love you forever for connecting us. Or I don't know, I'll owe you dinner for if you send me the next one. Or I don't care, right? Doesn't matter. I mean, you can't make a promise that, yeah, I'll give you a new car. It's not that, unless you want to go to jail. But and then if they say, "Actually, I might be moving," that's my favorite one, less than 1% of the time, but it might happen, right? Might happen. "Oh, wow, tell me more. What's making you think about a move?" And by the way, less than 1% of the time. Let's say it was exactly 1% of the time. How many of this message do you need to send out in order to get one piece of business from the individual that you're texting? If it's only 1% of the time, how many messages would you need to send out to get a piece of business that day then?
Did you say it's 1% of the time?
Yep.
100.
Yeah, so you'd need to send out 100. How hard is that? KV Core, send text message, send. And then drink your coffee, wait a couple hours, get a listing. Oh, it's so hard. I mean, it's about consistency, right? Don't do more than 100. If your database is 38,000 people, don't do all 38,000 today. There's going to be more follow-up than you could possibly do in a day. It's going to be a nightmare. You'll hate yourself. So chop it up. You start doing a little bit every day, and that consistency, that's what's going to keep your book of business rolling, right? It's awesome. So and if they say, "I might be moving," yeah. Why does this work? Shifts the conversation to their needs, open the doors for buyer-seller conversation. And remember, by the way, if they say, "We're thinking about buying a home," even if you don't know if they own their home or not, because maybe they're newer in your sphere or whatever, assume if they're buying a home that they have a house to sell. I always ask it. Even if I think they're probably renting, I'll say, "Now, do you need to sell your current house?" And they may, why? Listen to this. Even if I know they're renting. "Well, no, we're renting that house." "Oh, awesome. Do you think that the owner wants to sell that house?" "I'm just curious because we've got a bunch of folks that are looking for investment properties. Do you think they'd be open to an intro right now if they wanted to make a bunch of money? They'd love you. They might even let you out of your security deposit." Hello. 2 for the price of 1. All right. So then what do? Then we turn it into a consistent referral engine. This can, and by the way, should be automated. There's 2 ways to automate this. If you want to send it from your text number and you're going to build out a reach list, great, do it. Or do it 100% manual. By the way, when I first got started in my own business, I used a Google Calendar. That was my CRM. Well, how's that work? You set an appointment to do the thing in the future, and then when you get to that appointment, do the thing. I had a time block in the morning every day called follow-up. And on the day that I would do that follow-up, I would simply go in and I would add that person's name to the follow-up and maybe a note if I needed it. Call Krista, ask about her cat's surgery, whatever. For 45 days from now. Huh? Yeah. And then guess what? I either call or text, "Hey, was thinking about you this morning. How'd things go with your cat's surgery?" And then they're like, "Oh my gosh, how did you remember that?" "I don't know. It's magic." Because it was in my calendar. That was the main way. So that's a system, not an accident. So anyway, 30 days. "Hey, just check it in. Anyone mention moving lately?" 90 days. "Hey, quick update. Helping a family buy and sell here in Tampa. Just curious, anyone in your circle talking about moving yet?" 180 days, 6 months. "Hey, friends, hope you're doing well." Or, "Friend, some big price moves in the market right now. You'll notice I didn't say prices are going up or down. Why? Because I don't know if they're buying or selling, so it's either good news or bad news. But big price moves is curiosity engagement, right? If they're thinking about selling, they'll be excited because they'll assume those price moves are up. If they're thinking about buying, they may assume those price moves are down. I'm going to let them assume whatever they want to assume. I want to talk to them. That's what I want to do. If you know of anyone looking to take advantage, let me know. What am I really looking for? Them. I'm looking for them. I want them to maintain an awareness of me. Why? All right, this is a great question. And we heard this a number of sessions ago. I think it was about 18 months ago. We had Ramon on, and he asked a great question. Is it more important who you know or what you know? And the answer, just to fast forward to it, wasn't either. It's more important who knows you and knows that you're in real estate. If I call up Doug and I say, in your market right now, who are the top 2 injury attorneys that you can think of? Now, he may not be able to think of any. If he lives in some of the towns like our town here, they got a bunch of billboards for injury attorneys. I could name 2 right now. So I know who they are because they've plastered their name all over town. Right? So that's interesting. That's a category of business. What have they managed to do? They've managed to be one of the top 2 names that are remembered. Is your name one of the top 2 names that most people think of when they say who are the top 2 agents you can think of in your market? It doesn't matter about best, you guys. You think it matters about best. It doesn't matter about best. It's easiest. It's the one I'm aware of. Familiarity makes me feel comfortable. So if I know your name, I assume that's a good thing. I have a lot of cognitive bias that makes me believe that because I know it, you are safe. That's weird, but it is how it works. So you need to be known. This process helps you to stay remembered so that when somebody says, hey, do you know a real estate agent? They say, yep, Jeff. Call Jeff. Actually, one of my old the guy who was head of our buyer department in our team, he used to send out that his name was Devin, the real estate guy, which I'm sure was non-compliant, but nonetheless, I liked that it was, unless he was going to change his last name, I liked very much that it was reminding them of his occupation, right? It reminds me of when people are like city councilors or something like that, and they're like, Jeff Richmond, city council, hi, nice to meet you. You know, it's like, it's dumb. They put their like occupation, like it's their last name. But what's fun about that is that you actually do know what they do. And what do we tend to leave out? We're like, I don't want to be pushy with people. Good. Then be broke, I guess. At this point, you need to be a little bit pushy and selfish and get it done. Like you need to get out there and just glom onto some business and make it happen. And then love on your people and they'll keep coming back. And then you can live all your dreams. All right. FSBO strategy. This is the secret shopper approach. And by the way, this is not about lying. I hate hearing for sale by owners talk about the fact, and by the way, I've talked to, I don't even know, 20,000 of them, talk about the fact that a bunch of agents called them up and told them that they had buyers that they clearly did not have, or that they were fudging the rules. Like, I've got buyers, and it was just like a wink. You know, like I got 600 people on my website that are roughly shopping sort of in your area-ish, right? That's a lie. But you know what isn't? A question. Hey, Bob, saw that your home's for sale. Have you had mostly serious buyers or looky-loos? You may get an F off. You may get a really rude response. You may get a only working with agents if you actually have a buyer. You may get all sorts of responses. For me, a response is a win. You are now having a conversation, no matter how rude, with a person who what? Wants to sell their house. Are you freaking kidding me? What is it you do for a living? I'm just curious because I help people buy and sell property. So all we're really trying to do is just pierce the veil. If they act rude, act offended. Who cares? Be offended. I don't care. But start a conversation. So sell your home, non-threatening, builds trust, opens the door to a real conversation. You can also, whoops, I don't know why that's twice on here. Don't worry about it. A little bit of special there. Why does this work? Well, because they're going to respond with something, and we're just looking for that response. Doesn't matter, again, what the response is. Same thing with expireds. We're trying to just prompt a response. And I can show you, by the way, how to do this, I'm going to show you on this page. We have another strategy we've used that works unbelievably well. You do have to buy these leads. I will tell you guys that. If you think you can go into the MLS and pull an expired lead, you cannot pull the owner's contact information. Sorry. What you can pull is the address. So mailers work. You don't have to pay for their address. Why? Because it's right stinking there. Like I had a buddy about 6 years ago who was in a coaching group I was in, and all he would do is every single day he would wake up, he would see the current expires, and he would do handwritten notes to every single one of them. A guy took like 20 listings a year. That's all he did. That was his entirely. Did it take a lot of time? Sometimes it took him all day long. If you guys have never worked expireds, do you know how many expire on January 1st every year? I remember one year, and I was in Salem, Oregon. I think we had like 1,300 expireds hit on January 1st. Why? Most agents put the first of their month. By the way, if you don't want your expireds to get prospected, put them on the second of the month. All the lead generators will be exhausted. They won't call yours. For real. Second of the month. Just make that your new day. Don't do first. All right. Expireds. Hey, Bob, I saw your home was on the market recently. Did you get any weirdly lowball offers? People love to complain about things. What are you doing? You're giving them permission to complain. It's also not, it's not your kind of prototypical, agent. When are you going to be interviewing agents again to get your house back on the market and get it sold? Well, how about go drown yourself in a bucket? That's how they feel right then. Just so you know, they just vacuumed their house every day for 6 months, right? Like I'm lucky if we do twice a week, if it's my chore. And so guess what? I don't want to have to do this every day for another 6 months while you keep telling me to lower my price because you took the wrong price in the first place. All right, but it's a pattern interrupt, and it focuses on their frustration, not on you. You didn't say, I'm the best, I'm amazing, I help to get, not about you, homie. It's about them. Make it about them. Okay, next, mailer, and this one I love. Hi, neighbor, I saw your home was taken off the market. It sounds so deliberate. It didn't get taken off the market. We all know what happened. It expired. Is this deliberate? Yes, it's deliberate. Why? Because I want them to correct me. I've said this on a lot of calls, but we're not talking about cold calling today. But when you tell someone, hey, I saw that you chose to take your house off the market, they're like, well, I didn't choose it. Right, almost every time. If they can't even help it, it's like hitting the knee bone, where the leg does the thing. All right, so... And I was curious if you're still looking at new offers or if you decided not to sell at all. You can text me back at blah, 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 or my email is blah, blah, blah. Thanks. Does that work? Yes, it works. How many do you need to do? All of them. If you're going to do a strategy from today's call, do all of them for like 6 months before you say, it didn't work. I tried open houses. Really? How many did you do? One. Okay, when'd you do it? The 4th of July. Awesome. And it didn't work? Well, man, I can't imagine. But we used to bring agents on our team who would do an open house a day until they had 3 under contract. And guess what? Works like fire. It's amazing. Same house many times. And a Facebook custom audience. For those who don't know what this is, go look it up or have ChatGPT help you through this. You can go to a service like Vulcan 7 or RedX or LandVoice or Mojo or whomever to pull the contact information for these owners. Now, I'm not going to tell you to cold call them. You could, right? TCPA hasn't changed those rules. You need to scrub for do not calls. But here's what's interesting. You can also take that list, and if you understand the basics of marketing on Meta, which is Facebook, right, and Instagram, and 50,000 mobile apps, or probably 500,000 by now, you can simply load that list into there and you can market directly to these people if they're on the platform. Huh? Yeah, I know. You'll show up in their newsfeed. Can you imagine if they're going through, they're like cat video, dog video, person falling down on a skateboard, karate video. This is my reels, right? If I go through social media, so they're flipping through and then it's an ad, right? And then you get to ads. They're always mixed in. And the ad is like a person and it's you. and you're saying, have you recently tried to sell your house but been unsuccessful because maybe in a moment of weakness you ended up with a weak agent? I would love to help you, blah, 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 blah. I specialize in helping people who tried to sell their house. And here's what's interesting. Well, I don't want all the other agents to see my ad. They won't. You're only advertising to expireds. Could you do this? Yes, you can. Is it automated? Yes, it is. How much does it cost? 1,000 people. Let's say you put 1,000 or 2,000 people. You're talking about $1, $2 a day in marketing ad spend. Not too much. Not too much. Can this work? Absolutely. And I put the same script here. You'd want to change the script. You'd need a video script for that. So that's just bad editing, Jeff. All right. We're going to talk about AI hacks. Because AI is trending right now. For those of you who are not using it, get on board. It is not going away, right? Reminds me of when the internet happened. Everyone's like, I'm not sure if this is going to stick around. We've already played that game, guys. Like, this is sticking around. It has changed everything. You can now have a conversation with a computer that has emotions just about. I mean, it's bananas. Obviously, it's not going anywhere. So the quicker you master this category is that, think about it this way. What percentage of real estate agents do you think at the moment have mastered AI? What percentage of agents?
0.5%.
Let's round up to 1 even, right? Let's be generous, Joanne. Thank you. Let's be generous. And by the way, I love how participative you are. It's awesome. So 1%. So if you want to be ahead of 99% of your competitors, what could you do? I don't know, read a book, go on to ChatGPT and say, I need to learn how to use AI in my business. Coach me. And it will. That's what's hilarious. You don't even have to get a coach. AI can be your coach. It's bananas. Even if you do the upgrade or the mid upgrade on ChatGPT, that's like $20 a month, 200 for the top one. That one can, like, I don't know, send missiles to the moon or something like that. It's insane. All right. So AI hacks that get leads to call you. So AI powered cold outreach. This is a lazy agent's lead hack, in my opinion. There's a lot that you can do. If you really get into like Python scripting and a number of other things, you can go all the way so far as like having it control your computer and send and receive text messages direct from your laptop. Just leave your laptop running 24 hours a day, and it can actually handle all of your outreach and speak as your voice. Am I saying you should do this? No, because I'm pretty sure it's non-compliant. However, here's what I will tell you. There are some agents who are going to be, I guarantee there are some who are already doing it. And what'll have to happen is we're going to have to come up with people have rights. We can have a non-licensed assistant send out cold outreach so long as they don't say certain things or answer certain questions. Can that unlicensed assistant be an AI? I don't know. We don't have any legislation around it. It's too friggin' no, or early to know, right? So I don't know. But here's what I will tell you. If you start to understand what this can do, then you can set up your own boundaries, live within your own box, ask your state broker, make sure you're compliant, but you can still outperform your competitors, because guess what AI can do? It can go straight into your email, look for old leads, and just follow up with them. Hey, Sarah, I haven't spoken with you in a while. How are things going? That message, not going to hurt anybody that you send it to, right? Unless it's your mortal enemy or something like that. All right, use AI to re-engage old leads. And I love these. I always get, if I ever do this one in a coaching call, people, well, but I don't have old leads. I'm too new to the business, or I didn't write down who I did business with over the last 65 years, or I don't know, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Okay, so here's some answers. Well, I don't have old leads. Okay, well, find an agent who does, but they're not going to work them, and offer to do this for them and or with them, and create a partnership on that category of business, and just agree that you'll refer it back to them for a pre-negotiated percentage of their GCI or your GCI, or however you want to do it, depending on who works the deal. You can remember, it's always price or terms, right? Well, they don't want to give me a big enough referral. Awesome. Well, then get the MLS credit. That doesn't cost them anything. Give them more money. You get more credit. Now you're building a book of business. You also get the referral, or excuse me, the review on Google, right? So price or terms. If they don't want to give you price, go for terms. Next one. I don't have old leads. Okay, call up a lender and see if you can comb through their database for them, with them. I remember John Sellers telling us that he did this one a while back. When he had first come to Oregon from Arizona, he partnered with a lender who had like 3,000 people who had done mortgages with them over the last number of years, 10 years, 20 years, something like that. He said, when was the last time all those people got called? Well, I don't know. Awesome. Well, if I called through them and I just looked for refis and home loans, and all that business goes to you, and then if there's agency business, I'm going to take that business. Is that something you'd be comfortable with? And I won't even charge you an hourly rate. I'll call every single one of them. How many lenders would be like, free help? Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. They don't have anyone in their office doing that work and doing it competently. And by the way, you're licensed, which means you can actually talk about real estate. Holy guacamole. And lastly, talk to another local business owner with a large database. I don't know who that would be. Maybe, they've installed pools, or this is somebody who does tennis courts at luxury homes. I don't care. Whatever. And just see if they've got a database. Offer to partner up on that database. You can call through them. You can email them. You can direct market. You can use a platform called ManyChat, M-A-N-Y, chat, many chats, manychat.com. And if you get their good membership, you can email, you can text message, you can Facebook message, you can Instagram message, you can LinkedIn message, all from one platform with push of one button. All the same people. There's always a solution. Hopefully there's just not always a problem. And then you can auto send personalized, are you still looking texts. So AI, by the way, can spin these up. Let's just say that I have a comprehensive database. I export it as a CSV. I populate it into my AI and I say, please add a final column, spin up a message similar to this one, but make it unique to each person, right? Here's their average home price that they were looking at. Here's their interests. Here's the notes on them. Make it highly relevant. And then what could you do? Well, you could auto send it using your smart number. My preference would then be, if I'm using a computer, I'm going to sit there for 8 hours and take on the brain damage of going cut, paste, send, cut, paste, send, because I want to read every single one of them before I send. I could probably send one every 5 seconds. One every 5 seconds for 8 hours. Anybody? Does anybody know how many text messages that is? Right? You're like, wow, that's too hard. Even if you took some breaks and you didn't do that well, that means in a 60-second minute, you could do 12, right? That's 1 minute, but there's 60 minutes in an hour. That's 720 an hour, and 8 hours is 5,760 text messages. How many people sent over 5,000 text messages yesterday? Bingo, right? So even if you took a bathroom break in there, or you slipped into a coma midday, you're still going to send over 1,000 messages, which is nuts. I'm just telling you, it's nuts. This is where it's a volume. I don't know what to do with my time. Well, what did you do yesterday? Well, I sat in my office and cried about how shitty my business is. Well, great. That doesn't sound like a success plan to me. You got to do something to earn something. And that's okay. It's just, what happens. All right. So then I'm going to put that spreadsheet right into ChatGPT, have it fill in the messages. Every single person, I have done this, by the way, it's remarkable. It does it in seconds. Seconds. It's unfathomably fast. And the messages are fantastic. If you give it a couple examples, as you run into errors, you can say, hey, no need to change things for now. I noticed that you said this. Don't do that anymore in the future. If you're on the paid version, it will remember your changes and it will continue to adapt and get better for you over time, right? Mine even has a name, which is awesome. And so I let it name itself. Okay. Then you can manually, or if you're tech nerd, fully automate. Now, this is if you have Python coding experience or something equivalent, if you know how to run scripts with Apple Automator and a few other things. So I'm not going to get into that today. But if you wanted to get into that or to hire someone to do that for you, what this means is you could tell it to every 7.5 seconds, send out one of these text messages. And if you have the Messages app on a Mac or the equivalent on an Android, which is messages.google.com, that means you can send text messages from your phone, from your computer. If I'm text messaging you and it's me actually speaking to you, not one of my smart numbers, that's coming from my computer most of the time. My phone, when I'm not at work, which means sitting here, is usually on Do Not Disturb, and I'm not working. I'm out on a walk with Lexi and the dogs. A lot of times I just leave my phone. I lose it constantly. I literally left it in the hot tub the other day, just closed the lid, just left it there overnight. I have no idea what's going on. I text from my computer. Why am I telling you this? Because it's super powerful. If you're not doing this, what is up? I run 2 monitors. I have my CRM and my text messages, and I can engage hot boom, 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 back and forth with both. Please get on the train with that. It will make you a million times faster as a lead generator. And you can automate it. And that's why I'm showing you that today. I know I don't have time to like go deep into how that works. I want you to know that it is possible. Right now, you have to have some coding knowledge. And by the way, when the internet first happened, you had to have intense coding knowledge. Does everyone remember this? To have a website. Like creating a website was like you had to have 3 degrees from MIT and you just got back from building the International Space Station and now you can build a website because you're qualified. Now, what do you need? Like if you can fog a mirror, you can create a website in like 10 seconds on the internet. It's dumb. It's so easy. So right now, to get AI to do anything is hard. That means the competition vector is very high, meaning most people don't know how to do this. I can compete aggressively if I figure it out. So it's not for everybody, but I'm going to put it out there because some of you will master that, and it's going to be pretty powerful for your business when you do. Next level, freemium and lead magnets. Now, this one's a big deal. And I want you guys to know this is part of internet parlance. If you've ever studied digital marketing in any way, shape, or form, freemiums are how you get, it's an exchange of value. A freemium is, I'm talking with Pearl vis-a-vis my website, and Pearl's watching either a video or reading some content of mine or listen or responding to a message or a many chat message dropped into one of her DMs or something. And it says, hey, Pearl, I know that you need Subazabazi, whatever it is. And by the way, I have that. Just give me your email address and I'll send it over to you. I want to help you out. She's like, okay, cool. Because why? She trusts me and I'm going to send her. But what did I just get? I got her email address. I mean, I already have Pearl's, but guess what? Do I want her email address? Well, if I want to do business with her, I better have it. Yeah, of course. How am I going to keep in touch? I'd love to get her cell phone number too. That'd be great. If I'm communicating via email, I might ask for her cell phone number because I'll text her the thing. If I'm texting with her, I might ask for the email so I can email her the thing. So I can get the second piece of contact information. I've already got her name. That's how I'm talking to her. Does this make sense to everybody? So a freemium is bait. That's the best way to think about it. A freemium is bait. Or some people will call it a lead magnet. Okay. So in the internet, if you're ever on a site and it's like, we're giving away this free course, they're not giving away free anything. That is a piece of shiny bait designed to get you go nibble, nibble, nibble. And then it's going to go, grr, grr, and you're going to get pulled off like a fish that just bit on a shiny bait. And you're going to get slurped up into their ecosystem. Next thing you know, you're buying $300 courses you didn't need to buy or whatever. Right. And I'm speaking for myself. I've paid more money to the internet than you can possibly believe. All right. So let's look at these freemiums. And by the way, this is the core of today's training. Freemiums are fire, but the problem is there are some really worn out freemiums. Here's the most common lead magnets and why they suck so bad. Free home valuation. Really? Because the one that I can get for free on Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, Homes.com, etc., .amillionwebsites.com is broken? No, there is zero value to what you just said. None. And I don't even have to go give them my contact information. I can just type in my address, enter into Google. It's right there. Boom. There's my home value. So what is it exactly that you're offering? And I call this is a shortage of exclusive value, meaning it's non-exclusive. They can get this information anywhere without you. Why are you offering that? I don't call up Joanne. Joanne's at the top of my screen today. So Joanne, you're like co-hosting with me today. It's exciting. So if I don't call up Joanne and go, hey, Joanne, listen, I know that you need oxygen in order to breathe. And I've got some extra oxygen. I don't know how you're doing for oxygen right now. She's like, what are you talking about, Jeff? That is the dumbest question I've ever heard. It's a weird question, right? Like, why would you, I'm breathing, shut up. And she would just get like, Jeff's weird. I think Jeff's high right now. I don't know. End call, that's the end of that. Because it's a dumb question. It feels that I just want you guys to know for your prospects, 10 years ago when everyone started doing home valuation reports, it was super valuable. Not anymore. We're going to talk about alternatives today. Market report. Oh, I'll give you a market report. I'll let you know how it's come up. And first off, that's also available on Zillow in case anyone didn't know. And second off, it's non-specific. Do you think that the average consumer in Dallas, Texas gives two flying craps that Dallas is the #1 metropolitan statistical area in the United States right now for urban growth? They are, but do you think that the average person there cares? No. Why? Because it doesn't change anything for them. It's the same reason most people don't track the price of a barrel of crude oil. Right? Because it doesn't affect them. Now, what do they care about? Whether or not they can get eggs at the moment. Right. Like, that's a bigger one. Okay, fantastic. And if they can get a, dozen eggs for less than a mortgage, then they'll be pretty happy with that. But so this is a shortage of specific value. It's not about them. It's not about their house. It's not about their situation. It's about like a whole market. Ugh. Okay. And a buyer's guide. It's generic and uninspiring. They can read a million things online without giving up their email. Now they can just go have a conversation with AI, and AI will guide them through the entire buying process without you. What value did you just add? You didn't give them value that's unavailable elsewhere. You'll notice words like exclusive, specific, unavailable. We really want for our clients to be coming to us because we have things they can't get where? Anywhere else. Anywhere else. It is the only reason you have value still. So if you're trying to substantiate that value, you have to speak to these things. So let's talk about this. Lead magnets that actually work. The silent seller guide, how to sell without going public. The move up buyer playbook, upgrade without juggling 2 mortgages, and the insider pocket list. These are just some examples, by the way, that you could do 100 of these. I'm just giving you some examples today. These are actual lead freemiums we've used. They work, by the way. This is not hard to build. You could use KV Core to create these for landing pages. Like, you don't need to be super tech savvy to go do this. You already have the tools for free. If you're at EXP, you got the whole deal. You can build unlimited landing pages, unlimited squeeze pages forever on your current CRM. I don't think most of you know how valuable that is. They don't put a contact cap on it. Most CRMs, if you put 100,000 people in your CRM, you're paying $1,000 a month just for the CRM. At EXP, if you put 100,000 in there, they high five you and give you an award and part of the company. It's different. All right, let's talk about how these work. So the silent seller guide, you thought I was just going to leave you hanging. Silent seller guide, how to sell without going public. What is it some sellers want? By the way, what type of seller would not want to market their property? And I'm just going to give you an easy two option choice. Somebody with a normally priced property or somebody selling a $2 million exclusive home?
Exclusive.
Yeah, the expensive one, right? Now, let me ask you this. If you could sell one $200,000 house today or one $2 million house today, which one would you prefer?
2 million.
Jojo says 4 million. Awesome. I love it. Yeah, get it, man. And so, yeah, the $2 million one. And so what is this? This could be a simple PDF or email guide. By the way, just so you guys know, that here's how freemiums work. And this may be weird for you because you're new to it. How many of you have ever tried to apply to get a freemium online, some type of a lead magnet? Oh, the ultimate guide to blah, blah, blah. And then you get the guide and you're a little frustrated because it's not the ultimate whatever. It's just kind of a PDF that sort of summarizes how to do it. So there's a mix in this. What I want you to know is that they already got what they wanted from you, which was your contact information. That's how you got the guide. So they've already won the game by the time you're disappointed in the guide. Now, for me, I think the guide should be awesome. And I think in the world of AI, there is literally no excuse for it not to be awesome. It's so easy to go into ChatGPT and write me a 15-page, very comprehensive guide on how to sell without going on the bazaar. And then you go on there, edit it yourself, put your name on every page, and then blast it as a PDF to people behind a subscription wall. Takes 2 minutes on KV Core. But let me go back to the screen here. I want you guys to see how this works, why this works. And we're going to go through each of these. So simple PDF teaches them how to do this without going live on the MLS. And I like to say without going live on Zillow. Why? Because everyone uses Zillow. So agents talk about MLS. Consumers talk about Zillow. Don't talk like an agent, talk like them. Talk about the things they're actually using. Ask them, hey, when you're shopping for homes, where do you, well, I shop on realtor.com. Awesome. So now I'm going to use realtor.com as my placeholder for the word MLS from now on, right? Because they can think about it, they can visualize it, it's more tangible, right? But what do I want to do? Well, if I offer this to the marketplace, I could offer this passively on my business page. I could do it through DMs direct to people. I could go into local groups and, oh, hey, I just saw this amazing guide. I could go ahead and create a YouTube video that does this, and I could put the link to the guide down below, and I'll speak to a couple of the points, and then just say, listen, for a comprehensive guide, go to my video, and I could post that in 25 locations, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to just constantly try and find different ways to spin this out. I could even send this out to my existing database. Easy. I could offer this to people who are coming into open houses. Silent seller guide, yeah. A decent amount of people who come into open houses are thinking about selling. That's why they're there. They're looking at the competition, y'all. And by the way, you might be thinking, but I don't want them to sell without going on the MLS. Most won't. Once they understand why that's a dumb idea, they'll still choose to put it on the MLS. What are you trying to get? They're contacted. Listen, you can't give them good advice until you know who the hell they are. I'm trying to give you ways to know who they are. That's called a lead, right? Instead of an empty hole in your pocket. So this idea for luxury sellers, off-market deals, homeowners who don't want nosy neighbors. A lot of times country folk will like this as well. If they got big acreage, right? And a lot of shotguns, they're like, I'm going to shoot everybody I can see for 3 miles. Oh, great. You're ideal candidate for not putting an open house sign at the corner. I get it, right? We've all had that client. I get it. I'm turning more into that guy over time. Why it works. Some sellers don't want the world knowing they're selling. The private high net worth sellers in particular. Anyone ever worked with celebrities, right? We have, and it's interesting. A lot of times you have to sign like an NDA or confidentiality agreement of some nature, and right, there's some interesting stuff. They'll kind of neutralize the house. The ownership is not quite as visible or apparent. Sometimes you operate through an attorney, but many times they don't want it on the MLS either. Just because people look for provenance, and that's not a good thing for them. So could this be powerful? Sure. Post it on social media. Thinking about selling, don't want your neighbors to know? DM me silent, and I'll send my guide on how to sell discreetly and still get top dollar. Now, just so you know, there, like I said, ManyChat, there's some other platforms where when that text or DM through Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, if that's still a thing, I don't know what platforms are out there now, but like whatever, you can actually have it auto respond with this link, or you can just go one by one. Look, if you get 25 of them, that's a good day. That's 25 leads, good for you. By the way, create each of them inside your CRM and set a follow-up sequence. We talked about follow-up earlier. When these leads come through, the goal is to be following up. You're not going to catch 10 fish a day necessarily, but if you catch one from 10 systems per week, and those are 10 high-quality leads, and then per month you've gotten 40 high-quality leads and you only convert at a 10% conversion rate, that means you have 4 closed pieces of business per month. We like to pretend like it's a lot harder than that, and it can be if you make it harder. Oh man, I got to accelerate. This is the Move Up Buyer Playbook, how to upgrade without juggling 2 mortgages. I love this one because a lot of people are wondering this right now. You may have wondered it for yourself. I wonder if there's a way for me to buy that house and not have to pay any, right? What are we going to talk about? Well, we're going to talk about bridge loans, HELOCs, contingent offers, leasebacks, land trust sales, sub-2. I don't care. You can talk about all sorts of stuff. Make it as complex as you want. I would encourage you to make it so complex that they think that they can't do it on their own and that they need to hire a professional to help them. Who would they hire? I wonder, and they're reading your book. That's the whole point. You can give them all of the information. I used to have a guide called How to Sell Your House Without Using an Agent that I gave to For Sale by Owners. It was very long. I'm pretty sure none of them read it. They just got overwhelmed. And then what? You guys get it, right? The idea is not to not give people what they want. The idea is give them as much of what they want as what they want. Most of them want representation. They just think they can't afford it. Insider pocket list, off-market homes before they hit Zillow. I love this approach. And I will tell you, this is one of my number one things over time. I speak to this all the time. I write marketing copy around this. I want people to know that I have access to inventory that's not available elsewhere. It's not on Zillow. It's exclusive inventory. I have some high net worth inventory, people who want to be left off the MLS. And also we have a lot of people who are just choosing to sell independent of uplisting because they don't want all of those looky-loos coming through their property, stealing their, prescription medications and firearms and taking pictures of their kids and being weirdos in their house. Nobody likes that crap anymore. So I speak this truth to people and I say, listen, I've got a number of those. If you're ever interested, which is true, how would you get a number of those? Start conversations with a bunch of FISBOs today. Now I go to these folks and I say, listen, I can put together a deal. Here's what that would look like. We may already have a buyer exclusive. I could put a single party listing agreement together. I can do all sorts of things. Speak to your state broker about how they'd like for you to structure that business, but I will let you know, you can go create deals and your own marketplace where no deals seem to exist. Too many people thinking the MLS is the entire real estate market. It ain't. A lot of deals happening every day that aren't on the MLS. And you can get paid on those deals. And it's real money. It burns just the same as, commission dollars or whatever. It's still commission. All right. It's all legal. Good stuff. All right. I love these. So choose one, take action today. I would recommend, if you've never done any of this, just fire off a text message to a bunch of your folks and just say, hey, listen, I've just gotten access to some off-market deals. Not sure if you or anyone you know are actually looking to buy a house, but it's interesting. This is all stuff that's not on Zillow. I'd love to, help somebody in your world really save some money. I know the markets have been tricky recently. Let me know if I can be helpful. How complex was what I just said? Not at all. But what did I just say? You can't find it anywhere else. I've got it. It's all mine. How do you get to it? Through me. I really want to beat this one over the head because if you guys aren't hearing me, this is a full differentiation category that you can go out. You say this to somebody and they understand that you now have things that they might want that they can't get elsewhere. If I'm shopping for a car and one of my buddies is like, listen, I actually have a car lot with a bunch of really nice like luxury vehicles, the Escalades, that kind of stuff. Great pricing. It's just all stuff that's off market. You're not going to find these at standard car lots. If you ever want a great deal, just let me know, man. I'd love for you to take a look at my stuff. Am I going to follow up and take a look at his stuff? Yes. Does that mean I'm going to buy something? No. But am I interested? For sure. He's got my attention. I love a good deal. I like believing I've got an unfair advantage over all the other people who are buying right now. Give your clients at least the belief, preferably the reality, that they have an unfair advantage with you, and guess where they'll come crawling back? To you. Awesome. Post one today. All right, we got to go quick. So I think I have 700 more slides. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Thanks for smiling. Easy social media post to generate. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, a lot of this can be automated. So I'm just going to keep repeating that. Because if you're like, these are supposed to be easy systems. They are easy if you automate them. It's amazing how that works. You can create a content calendar and have all of the rest of your social media for the rest of the year planned out if you want. And frankly, you can also automate all of that, including content creation now with AI. Huh? Yeah, for real. Images? Yes. All of it. Crazy. Post this today, though. All right, so this is how this could work as it pertains to our silent seller one that we had. Thinking about selling, blah, 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 creates curiosity, and this is why it works. All right, got to keep moving here. Getting leads on autopilot. All right, this I absolutely love. This is the magic follow-up message. And so if you haven't followed up with people in a while, don't be ashamed. Don't feel like you need to apologize. Never apologize is my perspective. Who cares? They don't realize how long it's been. They don't realize how long it's been. And even if they do, why are you shining a light on that? Right? Anyone ever been in a relationship and brought up a previous fight? And then you immediately feel real stupid. You're like, what? Why did I bring that up? That is so dumb, right? And then you just feel dumb. Don't do that with your clients. Hey, sorry, I haven't been in touch in so long. I feel really stupid. And they're like, yeah, you haven't been in touch in so long. That's weird. But if you're just like, Hey, was thinking about you today. How are things going? They love you. All right. Totally random. I was thinking about you today. How's everything going? That's my follow-up text message. Jeff, I think it should be more complex than that. Good. Well, all right. Try it your way. Um, I like this because it feels human, not salesy. How many people can I rip this text off to? I don't know. If I use reach, probably a couple thousand. If I use my smart number, 10,000. No problem. Do I need to send it to that many a day? No, that's a terrible idea. It triggers reciprocity. They feel very obligated to respond to this, especially if they know who you are and your number is saved in their phone. If this is cold outreach, it's not going to work. You guys understand that. And it opens the door to real estate talk naturally, which I love. All right. And then AI can now do this. I just gave the breakdown here for those of you who want to get into this, because I'm encouraging some of you to go tackle this in your own business. But here's how it could work. If you're on a Mac, you'd use Mac shortcuts plus an Apple script. You can use AHKey, which is an auto hotkey, to automate WhatsApp if you're on a PC, using Google Messages, or for that matter, any texting app, right? And this is where the computer's going to learn. That's machine learning in that category. The AI is what would write the natural language processing for those messages to be going out. And these are relational messages. They're not going to be talking about real estate. So there's no violation there. All we want it to do is just spin up back and forth conversation so that you can take over and step in, right? And then if you wanted AI to, like, let's say, send text messages every 5 seconds for Messages app, I have no idea the compliance on that. Check that on your own. I've not heard anything, yay or nay. You would need to know before you did anything. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm not your lawyer. Anyway, moving on. All right. How it works, you'd use Mac shortcuts and Apple script to automate text sending. Then you feed in a list of CSV onto Google Sheets, right? So that it's available on the web. This would be web-based. And then ChatGPT would generate personalized messages. And then the script runs every 5 seconds until all messages are sent. If you hate that, who cares? Create a mail merge one and send it out as a text message using KV Core right now. You don't need AI for that. You don't. You could have that one mastered in the next 15 minutes. Or use the Reach app, and I gave you that down there at the bottom. The 3X content rule. Now, if you're not creating content on the regular, and you watch Gary Vaynerchuk and he's like, post 600 videos a day, and you just get overwhelmed and then you want to crawl into bed and, suck your thumb. I understand, by the way, because Gary Vaynerchuk has a team of like 6 trillion people doing that for him. And it's easy to say that when you have a giant team and all this kind of stuff. What I will say, however, is you do need to be creating content, and your content needs to be relevant, and it needs to be going in the right places. I've heard people say before, you need to have 2 pages. You need to have a profile, which is on any platform. That's your personal profile. Eventually, you can spin it up to be an influencer profile or something like that, allow you to have more quote unquote friends, right? I have so many friends now. I don't know whose friends are friends and friends are not friends. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? But the other category is a business page. So personal profile, business page. This is on Meta, for instance. And on a page, I can run ads. I can do all sorts of things. Some states now, at the level of the Association of Realtors or the Multiple Listing Service or whomever is the governing body, will actually dictate how this needs to work. And will say, your real estate stuff really needs to be coming from your business. Some states are getting hyper specific on that. So check into yours. Some are not as clear, but I would always recommend, it's really positive to post it on your business and then share it on your personal, or don't even worry about sharing it on your personal and just spin up a lot of followers on that business page. So it is businessy, right? Think about this as if you owned a vacuum shop, you wouldn't want every one of your social media posts to be about vacuums. You'd want your business to take care of that so you could live your life and have a normal social experience, right? People dislike it when social gets crowded with business. So you want 1 piece of personal content on your personal profile per week. You want 1 real estate insight. This is a minimum, by the way. Market updates, tips, behind the scenes. I love behind the scenes. People love behind the scenes because they want to see what's actually going on in your business. It feels more personal to the business owner. I love that stuff. And then an engagement post, polls, questions, fun posts. You got to be thoughtful on this one, right? Who wants to sell this year? Raise your hand. That's not a poll, right? My friend Ryan Bowman does this really well. What do you guys think about this? And then he'll post like a picture of a house that has like a toilet in the kitchen, right? That will get a lot of engagement because people are laughing at it. People are like, this is so dumb. I stayed in an Airbnb one time. People fart and your kitchen smells like gas. Like, whatever. You want that engagement to be happening on your page. And then, by the way, here's a little hack. If you're running a business page and people like your post, open the likes, see who they are, and you'll see this little button that says invite next to them. Those are all the people who haven't liked your page yet. Click invite, however many times that is, every time, and all of those people will get an invitation to like your page. If you run an ad and you get 6,000 likes, 5,900 of them will not have liked your page. And if you invite all of them, about 20% of them will accept, which means you just got 1,000 likes on your business page for whatever the cost of doing business was. You might not have got a piece of business, but if somebody's thinking about doing business with you and they're like, I'm not sure how real Krista is, let me go to her business page. Holy bananas, 10,000 people like her business page. She must be incredible. That's how you can build that. Doesn't cost you very much. And then the last things that we're going to cover today, these are your instant engagement posts. And I'm telling you, this stuff works. It seems so dumb, guys. It seems so dumb, but it does work. So first one is the pick one post. This is for instant engagement. You could do this on Instagram. You could do this on Facebook. You could do it wherever. People do love sharing their opinions. If you had to choose one, which home are you picking? Modern mansion, cozy cabin, beachfront escape, or penthouse views? By the way, do this with a 4-part split on the screen. A, B, C, or D over the houses, 4 different houses in 4 different locations. And if you need to get pictures of those 4 houses, go on Pexels, Pexels, Pexels.com or something equivalent to give you free use imagery. You cannot just go steal somebody's listing photo from their listing in Georgia and pop it onto your social media, because orange is not going to be a great color on you when you're in prison. So don't do that. You don't go to prison, but you get fined and maybe lose your license. So I don't recommend it. Why does it work? Easy to answer, makes your emotions go, sparks some conversation. Let's keep going. I got 5 of these. Second one, behind the scenes post. Most people have never seen the real side of real estate. So here's the post. Most people think real estate's just showing houses. Today I spent 3 hours negotiating a deal to save my clients 15 grand. What's something about your job people don't realize, or whatever, something like that. And then a picture of you in the office with your hair messed up, your mascara running to me because you've been crying, right? I don't care. Doug knows what I'm talking about. All right. And then next, I don't think you heard me on that one. That's good. We'll see it on the replay here. Fact or myth fact, right? This is the post. Myth versus fact. The myth, you need 20% down to buy a house. Fact, you can buy down with as little as, I might actually say 0% down here because USDA loans and some other great loan categories, right? And some loans require $0 down. DM me, buy if you want my guide on how to buy a home with less than 5% down. How would you find out where that guide is? I don't know. Go to ChatGPT, have it write it, and then 10 seconds later, when the guide is written, go create this post. You could have this done by the time I'm done with the next example. Number 4, vote with an emoji post. I love these. I have a lot of friends who are using these. Renee Funk out of Florida uses these a lot. It's good stuff. Seems like it wouldn't work. She's like an 8-time icon, so it seems to be working. If you live anywhere, where would it be? City, penthouse, mountain retreat, beach bungalow, desert escape. Similar to the earlier one, except that they get to plug their emoji in to vote. It sounds stupid. I'm telling you, it works. Do I put this on my personal profile or my business page? Try it both places. If you don't have an established business page, it'll play better on your personal for now. The problem is if you do too much of this, people will literally stop engaging with all your posts because they're going to start to hate you in the same way that you would hate one of your friends if they went into insurance and every one of their posts was only about insurance. It's just true. Next, the controversial post, right? This one's not very controversial, but unpopular opinion, best time to buy homes right now. You can make it anything. Agree or disagree? Drop your thoughts below, right? Unpopular opinion, home values are going to plummet this year. That would be an unpopular opinion. Do you agree or disagree? Drop your thoughts below. Unpopular opinion, houses in a neighborhood don't have as much upside potential as houses outside. It doesn't matter. Just make it something controversial where everyone's likely to disagree with what you just said and post that. Huh? Yeah, you heard me. People love to disagree. That's called engagement. That's what you want. And then turn your engagement into leads. You're not done yet. When people comment, reply to every single comment, keep it all alive, super vibrant. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, great. Yeah, good point, Pearl. Holy moly. Neighborhood homes are awesome. You're right. I see the light now. It doesn't matter what you say. It matters that you're engaging. It matters that there's a back and forth and that it feels natural, and that's true to you, by the way. Then DM the engaged people, hey, Bob, I saw your comment on my post. Are you actually thinking about buying or selling soon? Not everyone's going to reply. Don't get offended. If you only get one and they don't reply, that was your 0 of 1. That's not a big deal. It could still be a 1% response rate or 100% or 90% response rate, but you don't have enough leads to know. And then track your engaged people. I always turn them into CRM contacts so that I can go back to them later. I'm going to follow up with every single one of these people. By the way, follow-up is the key. The key. The key is follow-up. How many leads did you get last year that you probably have forgotten right now? That this year are buying or selling with one of your competitors. Holy moly. All right. Let's keep going. We're almost there. And video, I know I'm at the tail end here, guys. Sample video scripts to stay visible. This is just about visibility. Video can be about visibility. If you're really going hard on YouTube, that's a whole nother training. Then YouTube could actually be your inbound engine for that reverse cold calling, for that reverse funnel, whatever you want to call it. Hey guys, I just checked today's market stats and something crazy is happening in Philadelphia. Here's what you need to know. Hey crew, do not sell your house right now until you hear what just happened here in Philadelphia. Or the third one, hola amigos. I saw some bad news for anyone thinking about buying a house right now today. If you're here in Philadelphia, you're going to want to know this. Those are my intros. First off, is the news usually positive or negative? It's usually negative, right? That's why I stopped watching the news a few years ago. It was never like, let's go watch this amazing, bunch of kittens cuddling up to their mother and feeling love, right? It wasn't that. It was like, let's look at the picture of some kittens on fire in a dumpster. And so I just didn't want to see that information anymore. I didn't need all that negative. But what we've been programmed to believe is that what makes something newsworthy is that it could hurt us. Hear me on that. What makes something newsworthy is that it could hurt us. And so helping people to avoid hurt is what the news is positioned as. So your news can be positioned as the same thing. If you put a video out there that's like, thinking about selling your house might not be the right time, you're going to want to watch this video first. I don't want to do that. Yeah, you do. Why? Because you're going to get views. And in the video, you can say, things that apply to like the 1%, the 2%. Listen, if you're still inside your exclusionary window, you're in the first 2 years of owning your house, and you're going to have a huge cap gains moment, it might be better to hold on to that house and make sure that you've lived in it for 2 of the last 5 years so that you can have the $500,000 buffer if you're a married couple. That is a legitimate reason not to sell right now. Does it apply to most people? No. So is it safe to put in your video? Of course. Still positive, still expertise. Okay, so we want to do these. And the very last thing that we'll cover today, your call to action, just getting leads to call you. So these are things that you could all do in under 5 minutes. Under 5. I'm going to do them all today. It'll be great. We'll put some business together this week for sure. So send one referral text. I mean, I would say to your whole database, but you can send it to one person if you want. Just kind of depends on how competitive you are, I guess. Post one lead magnet on social media. Hey, everybody, just got a block of homes that are all off market. Anyone looking to buy in the area wants to save some money, let me know right now. Ping, 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 ping. DM one for sale by owner using the secret shopper approach. Make one short, scary news video. Scary, I love that word. Yikes. If you're about to buy a house, freeze. Don't do anything until you watch this video. That's scary. Why do I need to watch this video? No, I'm terrified. If I don't watch this video, I'm screwed. I got to watch it. You'll figure out the video. I'm just telling you, that's got to be your clickbait. And then get your desktop SMS, which is text messaging system, up and running. I actually really believe in this last one. I think you need to get that done very quickly. Log into your account over at thecommunitycenter.com and continue to educate yourself. You guys are here today, so you're already doing the right stuff to move your business forward. And I know I haven't been watching the text as much, but I will tell you guys that if these aren't things that you're currently doing, the point of these trainings is not to shame you. The point of these trainings is not to make you feel bad about what you shoulda, coulda, woulda done. That's all past tense garbage. It's all self, punishment. Don't do that to yourself. Simply say, this is now what I will do moving forward. And I just saw somebody unmuted. Did you have a question?
No, I was getting ready to applaud you.
All right. Thank you. It's very sweet. Well, listen, guys, I appreciate all of you being here. And I have to say, if you need any help with any of this, we have tons of amazing, amazing mentors, coaches, sponsors, all sorts of people here inside the community who are leaders. You see a lot of them in a rotating cast on these videos. And these are people who are here to help you. Most of these folks sell 100, 200, 500 homes a year. These are really, really big producers who want to see all of you be successful. Why? Because that's part of the architecture of how eXp Realty works. It allows all of us to participate synergistically in each other's businesses. That is the first time that's ever happened, and it's incredible. So I just want you guys to know what a powerhouse this is, how exciting and what an honor it is for me to be here. By the way, next week we have the amazing Christine Kites coming on. She's going to be sharing some really incredible information. You cannot miss that session. And then the next week we have a powerful mastermind, a bunch of top producing women coming on and speaking about what it is that they're doing so differently that's caused their businesses to blow by the competitors. And it's pretty crazy. So I've already seen that one being put together. So we've got a lot coming up. There's a lot of really great content. If you guys have any requests, feel free to hit me up and ask for it. But in the meantime, thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye, guys.